What are you doing? Don't get into video? She's not leaving me alone. What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to bring you through some of my top favorite leg workouts to really focus on growing the bum, okay? Do you want to grow your bum too? Let's see that little bum that you got. Oh yeah, she got it. So I'm going to bring you guys through my top 10 favorite glute exercises to really focus on growing the glutes and focusing on the 3 different muscles. There are 3 different actual muscles in the glute. So there's the gluteus maximus, the gluteus minimus, and the gluteus medius. The maximus is the biggest muscle in our glutes and the biggest muscle in our bodies, actually, which is pretty crazy. They kind of have a lot of power. They help us to stay standing still, to stand up in general. They help us to do a lot of different things, and when they're nice and round and perky, they just look good. If you guys like this type of video where I bring you through my workouts, please let me know because I would love to do this more often. Just gotta, you know, bring my camera to the gym, which is difficult for me sometimes. So this first one is a dumbbell sumo squat. So I'm holding the dumbbell between my legs here. You can also hold it up in a front rack position, so it's like in front of your body, but I'm holding it in between my legs. I just feel it more in my butt this way than if I was holding it up in between my arms. So you're just going to go down like this and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Make sure your legs are further than shoulder width apart and your feet are pointed out so that you focus more on squeezing up with your glutes. You're also going to hit your inner thighs with this. This is something that just recently started happening to me. Like, I never really used to hit my inner thighs with this, but I've been feeling it a lot more in my inner thighs than normal. So you're going to do this for about 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. You're going to use like moderate-ish weight. I don't suggest going too heavy on this because I really want you to focus on squeezing up with your glutes. And make sure when you go all the way up, you squeeze, 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 squeeze. Ugly butt style, you know? Next, we have a cable squat. So for this one, it's also 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps with moderate weight. Again, I want you focusing on using your glutes to push yourself up, not your hamstrings or your quads. To do this, you're going to leave the cable about 3 notches up from the ground instead of on the lowest notch. So this is going to focus, make it more feel like a hip thrust type of movement. As you can see here, I'm pulling up, and when I get all the way up, I'm squeezing my glutes, and it's kind of in the same line as the cable now. This next one are alternating reverse lunges. This one is probably one of the more difficult ones because you're going to use heavier weight, 8 to 10 reps, 3 sets. You can also do just one leg at a time instead of alternating. Alternating just helps you increase your balance and increase your core strength too, but if you wanted to just do one leg at a time, you totally can. Make sure you are getting wide enough range here, so you're making the range between the foot that's standing still and the foot that's going back really wide so that you hit your glutes, because otherwise you're going to hit more of your quads if you have a closer stance here than a wider stance. If you are struggling hitting your glutes with this, you can also put a weight underneath your front foot, but for that you would probably just do one leg at a time. But putting a weight under your front foot, especially if it's just your toes are on the weight or on the plate on the ground, then you're going to kind of make yourself push more out of your heels, which will focus more on your glutes. Okay, next we have laying hip abductors. So these, you want to lay down on the ground, obviously like I am, and turn to one side. Put a dumbbell on the side of your leg as I have it, or you can use a plate. I use a dumbbell, but I kind of prefer if I used a plate here, it'd be a little bit easier. And then focus on pushing up your leg with the side of your leg. So these ones actually are really, really good. I enjoy them a lot. I feel like they isolate your leg a little bit differently than a cable hip abductor, which you'll see later does. I don't know why, but I just feel like I get a different sort of movement here because it's really the only thing that's pushing your leg up is your glute. So do these for a few sets. Okay, next we have dumbbell Romanian deadlift. I'm using 1 dumbbell here. You can use 2 if you would prefer. You're gonna do 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps at a moderate weight. This weight is actually probably too light for me, but I was filming so many exercises that I just like put the weight down a little bit. But you're going to focus not on the depth that you're getting, but on focusing on pulling up with your glutes. So you're gonna go a little bit past your knees, but not all the way to the ground here. And make sure instead of like having your legs be completely straight like this and going down. You're gonna want your legs to go out a little bit, so it's kind of more like a triangle, if that makes sense. So that focuses more on pulling with your glutes. These are 100% a staple. I do some form of an RDL literally every single time I do leg day. They're perfect. I love them. And also you could do this with a barbell, you could do this on a cable machine, you could do this with a kettlebell, you could do it with pretty much any sort of equipment. Okay, next we have the cable hip abduction. So this is different than the laying hip abduction that we had before. Now you're standing up, have the weight on your ankle, and you're pulling the weight out, making sure that you're not swinging your upper body or the other parts of your body way too much. You are going to probably need to swing a little bit just because it's kind of difficult, but make sure you're not swinging too much, because then you're not using your hip abductor at all to move the weight. You're going to have your other leg should not be locked straight in a straight position. It should be bent a little bit. So you're going to do both sides, about 12 to 15 reps, I'd say, because for these you want more of the burn than the build, if that makes sense. So you're going to do a little bit lower weight, a little bit higher rep, and they kill. They really do kill. They hurt a lot. And if you do them back to back, both sides back to back, you'll notice that the leg that's standing will end up hurting while you're using the other leg, because it's just painful. Okay, then we have the cable glute kickbacks. These are, obviously, you've seen these, people do them all the time. This is an isolation movement, so you're not going to use this right when you start working out unless you're trying to activate your muscles, but it's perfect for burning out your muscles or for just getting that last bit of energy out. So you're going to do these again for about 12 to 15 reps, a little bit lower weight, and just focusing on using that mind muscle connection to kick your leg back with your glute. If you're not careful here and you don't keep your core tight and your back straight, you are going to notice that your lower back is going to start hurting, and you're going to be using the wrong muscles, and it's just not good. So make sure you don't put the weight too high. A lot of people think they need to have a really, really high weight for these, but you really don't. The focus should just be on lower weight and focusing on using your glutes. So then we have the all-time favorite, hip thrusts. So these I actually hadn't been doing for a really long time because of my back, but you can do these if you want to with a dumbbell instead of a barbell, if you're a little bit intimidated by barbells, but I promise you barbells are fine and easy to use if you want to use those. So you're just going to focus here on not pushing a lot of people will push their back when they swing up. You don't want to do that. You're going to hurt your back that way. Keep your chin tucked in toward your chest. Keep your back flat on the bench, and just focus on swinging your legs up, keeping your core tight so your back doesn't arch at all, and then just using your glutes to really push up all the way through the movement. So you're going to do about 8 to 10 reps of these. You want them to be heavier because they are compound movements, so they're going to use all of your legs, and you can get the most strength out of this exercise. Okay, this is actually, I think, my favorite one, and it's a box squat. So this you're using a barbell. You can also use a dumbbell if you want. You could use a kettlebell if you want, holding it up here, or you could use a Smith machine if you're more comfortable with that. You're going to use a box or a bench. I usually like using a box that's a little bit lower height, but this gym didn't have that, so I just used a bench. And you're just going to squat backwards, sit down on the box or bench, and then stand up. And when you sit down and force yourself to stand up, you're forcing yourself to use your glutes. So instead of a squat where you might feel your quads, your hamstrings take over, you're not going to feel that with this movement. Also, this is the moment when I realized that my shirt was inside out. So you'll see my tag on the back, which is just whatever, I guess. So then this last exercise she wants to be here so badly is a single leg glute bridge. So I'm using a little bit of an elevated surface just to focus more on my glutes here. And as you can see, I only have my heel down. So this will make sure that I'm pushing with my glute and not with my hamstrings. You're going to put the weight on the one side of your body that is actually working. So if you're pushing up with your left leg, you're not going to put it on the right side of your body. You're going to put it on the left side of your body. And you're going to really just focus here on pushing up with your glutes. And I really love this one for the end of my workout, so just really burn out the glute muscle. So those are all 10 of my favorite glute exercises. Again, I don't do every single one every single time that I work out, but I do them a decent amount. The rep ranges and the sets are in there in case you wonder like what I do with each one. I don't do the same rep range or the same type of weight, so heavy, moderate, or light. I don't do the same for each exercise because each exercise will have a different purpose. That's something I could get more into if you guys want me to, like my top isolation exercises, my top compound exercises. So let me know if that's something you guys are interested in, and I'll definitely get working on that. So that's it for this video. If you guys liked it, make sure to like it, make sure you subscribe, and as always, I already said what I was gonna say. Okay, that's it. I love you. Bye.